if you're born on April 10th, that's not your birthday. That's Steven Seagal's birthday, and you happen to also have been born on that same day of the year.
You know who else is born February 10th?
He was born in
Elvis Presley.
Look at that. Well, I said April 10th.
You know how I know that? Because there was a movie a long time ago with Mr. T in it called DC Cab, and Gary Busey was in it. And in there, Gary Busey had a line that said, "I don't work on February 10th because that's the king's birthday." Subscribe to our YouTube if you're not. Please, please, please. It's very good. It's the best kept secret on YouTube.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a secret right now.
Yeah. Let's expose it. Tell a friend. You got to respect the guy's body of work, right? I mean, he has done no less than 5,700 films in his day. Granted, we haven't seen 5,693 of them because they went straight to some shit-ass DVD or the bottom of Netflix. But the guy must have made a gajillion dollars. So my question is, when you just get that much money, and evidently you must have been some form of a badass at some point, is it impossible to have that much money and still maintain your level of badassness? Or you just let yourself become a total fat bag of shit and stop practicing your martial arts and just you rely on all camera tricks?
Oh, so you think it's camera tricks? Sucker. You're a sucker, bro. You don't even get it at so high level. You think it's camera tricks.
I get it. I mean, used to on camera, dude was great. People were flying all over the place. He was fucking flipping people around. He was pushing them through walls.
Listen.
And now it's like, all right, I'm going to touch your wrist. We're going to stop the camera real fast, speed things up, and you just jump in the air and do your own somersault. And I'll just breathe heavy.
Yeah.
And then, boom, here's another gajillion dollars. Like he didn't even have to be Steven Seagal anymore. Mm-hmm. And they'll make the movie around him. All he's got to do is just sit there in a chair and be a 7-foot fat bag of shit. The dude is out there.
Originally, from what I understand, Stone Cold Steve Austin made his first name his third name out of respect for Seagal.
He's like, well, I know I'll never be the number one Steven.
Also, if you're born on April 10th, that's not your birthday. That's Steven Seagal's birthday, and you happen to also have been born on that same day of the year.
You know who else is born February 10th?
He was born
Elvis Presley.
Look at that. Well, I said April 10th.
You know how I know that? Because there was a movie a long time ago with Mr. T in it called DC Cab, and Gary Busey was in it. And in there, Gary Busey had a line that said, "I don't work on February 10th because that's the king's birthday." I'll never forget that line.
I love that, bro.
Maybe it was
and the
February
way he 8th. does, we have to redo the videos, bro, that he does.
We should. I think you sent that.
You
so
have
it got
a
me
gi
fucking
for sure.
thinking.
Yeah, you got a gi. I know that.
I do have a gi. I need to go find it. I think it's at my mom's house.
And I will say that I was going to write the word gi in the text, but I said suit instead because I didn't know how to spell gi.
I think it's GI.
Ooh,
if I remember right. It's Willie's gi.
Yeah. I should have fucking known, dude.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, I used to think it was Gi Joe.
Oh.
I didn't know it was G.I. Joe, the cartoon.
Yeah, that's right. Because you were very into the martial arts at an early age.
Yeah, I was like, why is he not wearing a gi? It's Gi Joe.
I mean, people just don't understand. If you don't really know what you're missing out on when it comes to movies, I mean, there's just so many good Steven Seagal. And you know what? Honestly, at this point, we've talked about this guy a decent amount that I almost feel like he's our fucking co-host.
Yeah, also, he should be.
Bucket list, Steven Seagal on the podcast. Who can make that happen?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta fucking write that into existence.
Wow.
The number one Steven on Earth. Hold on here. On Earth.
You're talking. You're speaking it into the universe.
Yeah.
You're causing a Steven universe.
I might call in some fucking favors on the publicity side, bro. People don't know that I could call in favors, bro, if I wanted. I don't want to call in favors, though, bro.
Why?
You know what I mean?
Well, you shouldn't need to rely on favors.
But
Steven
this time,
Seagal should want to do this podcast.
You're not wrong.
Does that mean I'll finally have to fight him if he comes on the podcast, or do we bury the hatchet that he doesn't know exists?
I say just go ahead and bury it in between the sheds, like dead center, so it's kind of like a chi thing.
I'll put this out there right now. Steven Seagal, if you're listening, I will no longer want to fight you if you come on this podcast.
I mean, dude, above the law, under siege, on deadly ground, exit wounds.
Executive decision, I would argue.
Weapon, the Asian connection, bro. Code of honor.
General Commander, which is a redundant title, by the way. Pretty much means the same thing.
Doesn't even make sense today. He still made it a great flick. I mean, there's just so many, bro. And I think a lot of people, they don't, Hard to Kill, get off my nuts, Out for Justice, Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. I mean, this guy he was in the fucking, and then somehow he just popped in on an episode of Roseanne in 96.
I mean, I don't know how Hard to Kill didn't win an Academy Award. Kelly LeBrock's performance as the love interest she had that line that made the whole movie to me. It's when the team of ninjas attacks the house. He's at her house because she was a nurse, obviously. Everybody knows the story. He was in a coma because he got shot when he was an undercover cop. And then he wakes up, and then, all the cops are in on it with the bad guy ninjas, and they find out he's at Kelly LeBrock's fucking house, which, by the way, is a multi-million-dollar mansion. Cops, I mean, she's a nurse that does very well for herself. And in fact, I think actually she was house sitting. Now I'm wrong. She was house sitting for a friend who was rich. And when they attacked the house, during the attack or whatever, Steven Seagal, actually, there was explosives involved. They're driving off. And at some point, after he whipped all the ninjas' asses and killed most of all of them, there was a couple left alive. And then boom, the house blows up while they're driving off. And Kelly LeBrock, at that moment, the timing was impeccable. As soon as the explosion went off, he's driving in this Jaguar that was in the garage that belongs to her rich friend's husband. And Kelly LeBrock, right when the explosion turns off, turns around and looks at the explosion and then looks back at the camera and goes, I hope I didn't leave the oven on. Boom. Boom.
You can't write that kind of stuff, man. It just happens.
I mean, there's that line, and there's life is like a box of chocolates. Those are the two greatest lines in cinema history.
Damn, man. I'm getting a little teared up over here, to be honest.
Come on.
How do you not get teared up?
I don't know.
I don't get it. I don't even get people who don't get teared up, dude.
Kelly LeBrock was fucking hot. He was married to her in real life.
To have the depth of it, to have the depth to be able to drop off from doing Under Siege just a couple of years sooner to being on an episode of Roseanne. I mean, listen, when they didn't cast him in Black Hawk Down, I almost gave up on war movies.
Right.
I was like, this is absolute fucking tyranny. Okay. This is absolute dog shit. This is people pulling strings. Somebody called in a favor to get themselves on it to get Steven Seagal off. But when I saw that Seagal wasn't in Black Hawk Down, I was out of the movie almost.
Steven Seagal was originally cast in Black Hawk Down when it was under a previous title. It was going to be the end of that film series that he was doing that you're talking about. So originally the name of Black Hawk Down was going to star Steven Seagal, and it was going to be called Hard to Fly a Helicopter.
Oh, man.
It was to follow Hard to Kill.
Dude, I love a good what if, what if what would have happened?
Yeah.
I mean, what if? Talk about that might have just taken over the entire Mission Impossible operation, like all of their box office, launches and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What's up, Todd?
And it wasn't even going to be originally about that platoon of Rangers, that company of Rangers that got trapped there. It was going to be about, they were still in that country, but it was going to be Somalia, but it was going to be, he was in Somalia. He was an undercover Somalian cop. He got shot by some crooked cops that were involved with some bad ninjas. He goes into a coma, and his nurse is Kelly LeBrock in Somalia, wakes up, boom, the rest is history. A helicopter goes down in the middle of Somalia. He has to save it.